Hi, everybody. It's always exciting to see these bright new faces outside in front of us. We're always happy to see such a great turnout, and we also want to extend a warm welcome to our online students. We're happy from wherever you are that you're joining us today to hear what we have to say about Abercrombie. A little bit about my background. I come from the design departments at Abercrombie. I'm in rotation right now currently as a recruiter. And in the springtime, I'll be going back into my design roots. But for now, I get to travel around and spread the word and the excitement that we have to offer. Do you want to go into some?
My name's Natalie Vance, and I actually graduated here at the Academy a little over a year ago, studying fashion design, women's wear specifically. And I am currently a designer for Hollister, and I do men's bottoms, so denim and twill.
Hi everyone, good morning. My name's Megan Riggs, and I am more on the HR side of things. My background is in business, what my degree was in as well. But my role at A&F is to support our design and marketing functions from an HR standpoint. So I get to spend a lot of time with our creative groups, which is fantastic. So welcome.
So for those of you who aren't familiar with our company, I'm assuming that since you're here, you have a little bit of a back knowledge about us. But we do have three brands, Abercrombie, the adult brands, Hollister, and we have our kids brand as well. So cumulatively, we are a $4 billion company, and we have these global iconic brands that are recognized worldwide. Do you want to go into? Oh, and if, sorry, we're going to go into a video here that'll give you a little bit better an idea of what we have to offer on campus. Let's drop this.
Here at Abercrombie & Fitch, we work collaboratively to create some of the most influential designs that we're proud of, that are trend right, and the consumers love.
An A&F designer is someone that's passionate, skilled at what they do, loves to have fun, and is extremely experimental in achieving the best product possible.
Our focus is to not only keep our customer coming back, but also entice a new generation of customers.
When A&F hires new designers, they definitely look for people that are creative, intelligent, can think outside of the box.
We start with the best schools. In the best schools, we look for the top talent, somebody who understands design but also understands trend.
We really hire the very best designers around the world. We consistently want to grow the product, challenge the product, and get a new perspective.
You're having to think big picture. You're part of a team that is part of a global brand that's well known for quality products. So you have to make sure that in everything that you do, you're bringing a sense of passion, a sense of consistency to your work, because this is going to affect product that is going to be seen throughout the world.
The A&F campus is a trip. I've never seen anything like it. You're living the brand.
We ride scooters from meeting to meeting. It's outside, set in the woods.
You've got our cafeteria, which is amazing, our gym. It's quite unique in that the fashion companies that I've been at and interned with before, I've never seen anything like it.
The culture at A&F is really special.
It's casual, it's laid back, it's a work hard, play hard environment.
You're sitting next to your boss, you're collaborating, you're having fun.
The whole culture is about bringing everybody together and having a great time and getting a lot of stuff done too.
The training program really helped me to start to think very much like an A&F designer and really get immersed into the brand and the culture.
You learn about concepts, merchants, design. When you have Illustrator training, when you have PDS pattern training, you're going to learn specifically how this company functions with those programs. You learn in 3 weeks everything that it would take your manager to teach you in 3 months.
In design school, you're very immersed in honing in on your craft and your aesthetic. Once you come to A&F, you learn to take your aesthetic and apply it towards real work experience.
Here at Abercrombie & Fitch, we have 4 different types of designers. We have apparel designers who create the garments, CAD designers who make the patterns, we have graphic designers who make the graphics, and then tech designers who do the technical fitting of the garments.
All the different areas here work very closely together.
We work to create these stories that we feel are relevant in upcoming trends, street style, music. We look a lot at runway and see how we can interpret that into our handwriting.
The role of an apparel designer is to take the product from concept to production. That involves taking your inspiration and designing something that is brand appropriate.
You'll start with sketching, you'll start with pulling images, tears, and then we go into like breaking out our line for the season.
As a CAD designer here, we do all the print and pattern work for the styles that designers have in the line.
It could be shirts or dresses, fleece or swim.
We're the ones that know what the whole line is going to be like, what the assortment is, what the colour is, and what pattern could work well for them.
The graphic designer's role is to create cool, trend-right graphics to go on the apparel designer's garments.
We'll pull inspiration, then we sketch, come up with our own ideas, and then sort of figuring out what we can do with it, how we can spin it in our hand.
In tech design, we're responsible for being the liaison between the design team and our vendors. We are essentially garment engineers.
We get to see the sketch at the beginning and work through the sampling process until we see it as a real garment in the store.
At the end of the day, ideas are just sketches on paper until you have individuals that can bring them to life.
Here on campus, we are given a lot of tools to help fuel our creativity.
For the designers, the biggest, most helpful resource for us is the IDC.
We have a whole printing workshop. We have a wash and dyeing facility. We have embroidery machines. We have knitting machines.
We can kind of develop any sort of process that we want to. Any sort of idea that we have, we can take it to them, explain to them what we want, and they can figure out a way to do it.
A&F gives me a sense of pride in the way that it interacts with our community.
Philanthropy here at A&F is huge. We have many great organisations that we help. One that I've done is the A&F Challenge, which is a 5K run or 20-mile bike ride.
It's not just a race, we have bands come in, it's a giant party all night long. I had the opportunity to go work with Flying Horse Farms, which is a camp for kids with serious illnesses. My team got to paint murals inside of their medical center. We painted backdrops for the theater, and then we also got to paint these really cool vintage barn signs for each of the donors.
I never feel like there isn't something going on where you can help out.
Designers here are given responsibility and ownership at a very early stage in their career.
Within 2 weeks of me being here, I was in charge of an entire department. I was in charge of girls' denim. That was my product.
This career here is what you make it, and that's the part that drives a lot of us here.
I've worked on Hollister, Abercrombie. I started as an associate designer, and I'm now a senior director.
A&F has rewarded me by giving me more responsibility, having the opportunity to train direct reports as well as interns in our department, giving me the opportunity to travel throughout the world.
I got to go to Tokyo, I got to go to London for shopping.
I've always loved the brand. To be able to come here and work for a brand that has such good heritage, I could not turn the opportunity down.
Why A&F for me? I was completely blown away by the passion that I felt from the people that work here.
I work with truly like some of the most awesome people that I can ever imagine working with.
That I would have responsibility from the time that I started.
You're working with a team to create something that's so much bigger than you could have ever made on your own.
Getting to see your product on people worldwide.
Pretty exciting, huh? Cool. So we are here today, actually. We have positions available in all areas of the company. But specifically, I know a lot of you guys are here for apparel design. But with that, we can move on to kind of the state of the business here.
Yeah, so hopefully the video gave you guys a good idea of not only what the design role is like at Abercrombie, but a little bit about what it's like to actually work there, from the culture of our campus to a lot of the things that we get excited about and things that we believe in outside of the day-to-day, employment type work that we actually do as designers. So really kind of what the total picture looks like working at A&F. A&F last year, it was a $3.7 billion business, trending closer to $4 for 2015. So thinking about the scope and scale of the company that you guys could be designing product for, and the fact that it could be worn all over the world. We're truly a global brand. It's pretty amazing coming out of college, really what you could be influencing in terms of what kids are wearing around the globe. Global strategy is important for us as a global brand. We are expanding rapidly in Asia. We're expanding in the Middle East. And we are continuing to grow in great sites all around the world. We have some very, very exciting evolution of our brand that's been happening over the past, call it year to 18 months. We have had a lot of new leadership join our company in general. We have 2 new brand presidents, one who heads the A&F and Kids brand and one who heads the Hollister brand. Both of them have some really long-term industry experience. Within the design world specifically, we've recently had some new design heads join the company, so some very exciting things for us, a mixture of new talent coming into the organization as well as designers who have been with the company for years. But some notable adds. We've had a new lead designer join us from Lucky Brands. We've had one designer join us from Club Monaco, and one join us from Karl Lagerfeld in Europe. So a lot of new kind of breath of fresh air talent on our campus. Additionally, we have been focusing heavily on brand diversification. So Bobby's going to talk to you a little bit more about that, but from an age range standpoint, starting with our A&F Kids brand all the way through our A&F Adults brand and Hollister there in between, we're really focusing on ages as little as 3 and 4-year-olds within the kids brand. I don't know if you guys have checked out that store. We actually went over to Westfield last night, and they have the most adorable, like, tiny little t-shirts in there for that age range, all the way up through post-collegiate age in your 20s with the adults brand. So kind of growing down a little bit in the kids brand and growing up to really diversify the assortment of our brands and who we appeal to. So Bobby's going to walk you through a little bit more of that.
Yeah. So with that new leadership that Megan just mentioned, I always like to kind of explain to the new designers that are coming into Abercrombie that we're really going through kind of a renaissance from a design point of view. And you come in with a lot of voice. There's a lot of weight in that voice, and you're just allowed to speak, and your opinion matters. So and then with that, you bring your talent and you build on that versus with who you are on the team with. And it's really driving our brand forward. So this is kind of where you've seen us in the past, kind of a little, here's where we are now. It's a lot more exciting, a lot brighter, there's a lot more color, and we're really focusing on truly standing behind our product. We are standing behind our roots that we've always had, the heritage that comes with the brand, but moving forward our aesthetic so that it matches with what's on trend and what's going on and making us really relevant. So with the kids brand, as Megan also mentioned, we are going younger. So this might look a little old for you as far as like a kids brand would go. But here's where we're looking now. A big difference, especially with the sizes, the content of the shirts, the colors. Speaking from like a graphic design point of view, I came from the boys' tees department. We went from some kind of takedowns from the adult brands to now we're doing dinosaurs, robots, crazy cool, fun stuff. Hollister is kind of taking this SoCal beach vibe that we're really well known for, and we moved it on in the sense that we're kind of shifting towards that LA kind of urban, trend appropriate lifestyle that we can really stand behind as a brand for Hollister. So on campus, you guys might have noticed in the video that we have a sprawling, beautiful campus. It truly is one of the coolest places to work. Right now, currently back in Ohio, the leaves are changing, so it's not as green, but we do have some beautiful, beautiful oranges, reds that are happening on campus right now. And the fire, we have a fire pit you might have seen as well that's crackling throughout the fall and winter to try to kind of add to that ambiance. But aside from just the campus itself, we have the culture of Abercrombie that is thriving, and there's always something going on. On the right here, you can see what we kind of started this summer is yoga on the lawn. So after work, you're encouraged to bring your yoga mat and join the instructors on the lawn. And we also had a company from downtown Columbus donate some samples of juice. It was a juice company that everybody had a chance to try at the end there. And on the left, I think we also had, they were showing associates painting the signs for one of the camps that we're involved with. That's just one of many camps. We do a lot of work with the Serious Fun Children's Network, which is, it's 34 camps, is it? It's in the 30s. There's around 30-some camps across the world, actually, that we are involved with. We've actually donated about $11 million up to date now, and we've donated so many countless hours of community service to these camps, as well as allowing our associates to join these camps for a week at a time to be camp counselors. These camps are really for children who are sick and have often really, really serious illnesses. And it's a chance for them to kind of set that aside for a week and just be a kid and not have to focus on the pain and the sickness that they go through every day. So there are hospitals and nurses on site that are there to make sure that they have their meds. But this kind of thing is not taken out of your vacation. It's encouraged. And I think a lot of it's really growing. We're going to be investing a lot more time, effort, and people into it in the years to come. So as we keep going forward, we obviously have many companies that we give to. We're really focusing on our philanthropy and giving back. The Children's Hospital in Columbus, we've donated countless amounts of time and money into that. A lot of our funds from the A&F Challenge, which is an event that we have on campus where we bring in some bands. Walk the Moon was one of the bands that we had a few years ago, which was pretty cool to see. That was a little bit before they kind of hit some big songs, but we had them on their soundtrack, and it was always cool to hear people who were playing our music on the soundtrack on campus doing their mic checks and all of that. So just a really cool experience to be a part of. We've hooked up with EcoSmith. They have an anti-bowling campaign that we've kind of linked up with them for, so we've done some t-shirt sales that give funds back to that as well. So there's just a lot of stuff that we're doing to give back to that. Did you have anything to add? All right, I tried. So with that, do you guys have any questions? You online, guys?
We're happy to take questions about the design role, the campus in general, what it's like working at A&F. Across the three of us, we've got some pretty broad experience, so hopefully can answer anything that you guys have.
Hi, I'm Paula. Let's have Natalie speak a little bit about her experience so that you guys, as fellow Academy of Art fashion students, can get an idea directly.
So I can, I guess, go over the training program and kind of how everything starts out with Abercrombie. I actually initially got the job through doing a school project, which I'm not sure that they're doing anymore, but it's a intensive kind of interview process with Abercrombie. And so through that project, I ended up getting an initial interview with the company, and from there, we had some Skyping sessions where they gave me feedback about how my project was and how I could make it so it was more in line with the brand handwriting. And they ended up flying me out to the home office where I was taken out to dinner, and they kind of put you up in a nice hotel downtown, and the company treats you really well that way. So that was a really good impression that I got from flying out there. And then I I met with a few people and interviewed while I was out there and ended up having an offer. So I accepted the job, and once I was out in Columbus, they put you through a 2 program, and within that time, they give you a snapshot of all the you'll be doing on a day-to-day basis, pointers on presenting, and you'll meet with design and kind of get a play on what the daily process is at Abercrombie. So by the end of the second week, you find out what category you'll be going into, and that was a really exciting time because starting off, you don't have any idea where you're gonna go. You can kind of suggest a track that you'd like to go, so you can talk to them and say you're really passionate about designing tops, or you're really passionate about the denim industry, and you wanna pursue your time at Abercrombie studying or working with that. And so I ended up being put in boys denim and twill, and I actually studied women's wear, so that was really new to me, but it was a really fun challenge. And from there, I ended up transferring to Hollister, so now I design currently for Hollister guys' bottoms, and it's really exciting. You get responsibility off the bat, so even with my boys' designs, I was able to see those recently hit stores, and I had just started with those designs right when I got there. So you really get to see everything come full circle. The company really wants to give you that responsibility off the bat. They love your creativity and your fresh ideas. So it's different than a lot of other corporate cultures that way. You're immediately respected as a designer and a young individual. You're not just plugging in information into computers all day. You're really working on the process from start to finish. So coming up with concepts and seeing what the trends are out there and presenting those to your brand leads or to your supervisor. From there, you're sketching into things, you're working on the computer to turn those into flat technical drawings, and then you're working with your technical designers on getting the fit samples in, and you're emailing your merchants and working with vendors to source fabrics and come up with different trims that you want to use on the design. So it's a really, really well-rounded job. So if you are a person who likes to do a lot of different things and have your hands in a lot of different processes that way, it's a really a good place for that. Any other questions?
Is there a deadline for applying? For applying, a deadline?
Yeah, so the question is there a deadline for applying? Sorry.
Yeah, we accept applications kind of year-round. This fall time period is when we do our most focused amount of recruiting. So I think we're going to have all of you guys who are interested in, I think many of you have signed up to interview this afternoon. If you have not and you would like to do so, we're going to have you kind of sign up via iPad today. We promise we don't spam you with emails or anything, but it's more so that when we start the interview process, we've got your information, email address, et cetera, taken down so we can kind of start in that way. But if you are interested in pursuing a role with A&F, we would want to make sure that we get a chance to chat with you. I would say if you're here at AAU today, would love to do so in person. If not, signing up online is completely fine as well.
Yeah, and for the online students in the audience, you can email industry on campus at academyart.edu or check in with Ileana or Nathan, and we can get you the information on connecting with the A&F team for applications. So actually, I have a question. If you could just run through, so there's the training program that Natalie mentioned. There's a group that starts in February, and there's a group that starts in...
Yes, so we have 3 classes that start with new designers throughout the year at A&F. So essentially, we have what we call a training class. So a small group of students from all of the different schools that we recruit from that start 3 times per year. So the options for that are June, October, or February. So we would have the same interview process for all of those 3 classes. We'd ask you to kind of preference your start date, and we kind of fill those classes, and then each of those classes then, when they arrive on campus, go through the same 2-week training program. So in those first 2 weeks, you're kind of generally acclimated to the company, to what the role, the design role, whether it's apparel, print and pattern, or graphics, or tech, is at A&F. You learn kind of the systems information that you need to know to function, how we use Illustrator versus how you may have used it during your time at school. And then you're assigned into a brand and a product category, and you start onboarding into that particular team. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
Yep.
There's a couple questions from online. Let's see. 2 of them are related. So the first is from Katerina. She asks, you mentioned Hollister is heading in a more LA fashion direction. I was just wondering, will Hollister still have its beach vibe? And then Courtney asks, with Hollister trying to get a new vibe and be more modern, how do they keep in touch with their original brand image?
So we do still have a close attachment to that, the history that we obviously have built the brand around. But it's all about, for any retail company really, it's important for us to be relevant within the industry. With that, I mean, we have so much opportunity within Hollister, not only with the beach vibes that we put out, but we also have to be mindful of where we could expand to within that realm. So we have the West Coast that there's so much opportunity from a design point of view, so many cool things that you can like dig into from a graphic point of view, from an aesthetic of apparel. So we're really trying to find our way within there, but also keep it in that hand that we're known for. Yeah.
Also, from a design point of view, I would just say one of the ways that we kind of target our customer as we're designing is we'll look at a lot of what people are actually wearing maybe in LA or on those coastal cities, and just take inspiration from what we're seeing out there, and also obviously looking at runway and how people are interpreting that, because Hollister is not, a high-end fashion brand where you're going to see it walking down the runway, but it's just taking those ideas and altering them for our customer. So that's kind of how we try and think of our dude, and just staying true to that original Hollister lifestyle of the LA vibe that way, I guess.
And that's not even just limited to our apparel. If you guys had a chance to go into the mall downtown here, you would notice that the whole front has been changed. We no longer have that beach facade out front. It's now a clean, it's just really cool. There's a whole video display as you're walking through the doors to kind of catch your eye, and the product as well is kind of just exciting and new. And that translates also to the adult brands, where we've kind of lifted the lights a bit so you can see when you're walking through. And then the product has just also kind of been boosted, and we have so much expense built behind it, and we're known for that quality, and we always keep that in mind, and it's still shining through. So I'd really encourage you guys to step inside the stores and kind of get an idea for where we're heading, and kind of keep in mind where you've seen us in the past. And I think you're going to be really surprised. The kids brand as well. Obviously, we have those smaller sizes, which is really cool, and we have some exciting things that are coming down the road in the months to come. So a lot of positive change that is soon to be coming. We're kind of on that like tipping point. So come on in.
Okay, we have another question, also from Courtney. She asks, I am a fashion journalism major. I noticed you stated that there are many job positions that are available. However, is it strictly just in apparel design?
Great question. So we are obviously here today to recruit more for the apparel design, print and pattern design, and graphic design positions within A&F, but we also represent, we do a lot of college recruiting essentially across our entire business. So merchandising, finance, visual merchandising, planning, which is kind of our like financial buying team, et cetera, marketing, which likely a fashion journalism major could fall into. So we're really open in terms of what people's majors are and how that could fit into the business, and would be more than happy to chat with students or review resumes regardless of major.
Thank you. So on the, if you guys could tell us the URL for the careers website really quick, that would be great.
Yeah, it's actually really easy. You just go to our Abercrombie site, scroll all the way down to the bottom where it says careers, and click in there, and it's a pretty smooth ride from there. So you just follow along to where obviously you're looking for design, and there are design links within that. I think you actually go to students, and then from there it links you into our application process.
Excellent.
You can do www.abercrombie.com/careers if you want to get directly to that page.
Thank you. Any other questions from the audience? Anybody? Okay. Oh.
Hello. I noticed you said you were a women's wear major, and you transitioned once you received the job into menswear. And I wanted to know, because I'm a menswear designer, and I wanted to know, what was that transition like for you?
Sure.
I feel like it was actually really exciting for me because I kind of looked at it as a challenge, and I still look at designing for men as a challenge just because I have to step into someone else's shoes that way. So for me, it was all a learning experience, and regardless, I kind of knew that going from school to the career world would be a transition. So it's like a huge learning curve. So you're getting a ton of information anyways, and you're kind of like juggling all these different things. And so I kind of just took it a day at a time, which is what you have to do in situations like that. And I just studied blogs and did as much research about the kids' brands that I could, and specifically, obviously, boys' design. So just seeing what was out there with kids, what our competitors were, and just reaching out to even friends and family and talking to them about what their kids are wearing or what they're dressing their children in that way. So just really doing independent research to learn about that specific category helped me. Also seeing what was going on around me. So like you're surrounded by other kids designers or other designers for the boys specifically. So just knowing whether you're in line with kind of what's going on in that way or in that sense, and looking at what the concept is for the season, and just gathering as much information as you can, and you'll be fine that way transitioning to a different category. And now I love it, so I'm glad that was given to me as a challenge, but I'd say that anyone can do fine that way. It's just gathering the right information and being passionate about it. So. Yeah.
So I know you said you were a menswear focus. Typically, when we do when we are placing our designers as they come in, we take a lot of consideration your personality, your aesthetic, your design preference, and we really want to place you guys where you're going to be happy, because obviously that's important for you. It's important for us. We want to keep you around and put you in an environment that's most fertile for your growth. So I mean, if you guys are worried about coming in and you're going to have to have a huge change, it does happen that you get placed in some things that maybe aren't in your mind as where you would want to go, but there's always opportunity. There's always different areas that open up, that we have some shifts that we move around in your career as you grow through the company. It's really a company that you start in and grow within. So there's plenty of opportunity along your road as you're working through with Abercrombie.
Hi everyone. Well, thank you first to the Academy of Art and Abercrombie for this amazing opportunity. My name is Namrata and I'm a fashion journalism major. I just want to know about the company. So the Met Gala and the Ball announced that they're going to be doing a fashion and technology themed exhibition as well as the Ball just last night. So where do you think Abercrombie and Fitch stands as technology invades fashion and fashion invades technology?
Got it. That is a great question. I think generally when we think about technology and our brands, there's two routes to go. One is kind of customer engagement, and one is call it shopping experience. So one thing that our direct-to-consumer e-commerce teams are very focused on is omni-channel retailing. So you can shop from your phone, you can shop in store, you can shop online. If you guys popped into one of our stores recently, you would know that you can now purchase something that is out of stock in store online and it gets shipped directly to you. All of those things to make one cohesive shopping experience for the customer is one major part of kind of how we are utilizing technology to do better from a retail sales standpoint. On the flip side of that, I think is the kind of whole like social media customer engagement piece. When you look at Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, blah, 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 all those things that like I'm sure there are things I don't even know that exist in terms of social media and customer engagement. We are focusing on increasing and growing our presence in those avenues. And then I think that in terms of the future development and where we're headed is more of that quick, instead of a company kind of just putting themselves forward via those channels, more customer interaction via those channels. We have like a Snapchat filter in Hollister that I want to say has been downloaded like a jillion times. I don't know exactly what the number is, but things like that allow the customer to engage with the brand.
And technology just isn't limited to like the social media and that front-facing kind of way. We also, from an unseen point of view, like as far as like textiles and the fabric that we're using and like the investments that we're putting in, we have the IDC that was mentioned on the video, that they're always looking for new techniques, new fabrics, new ways to improve on our product on its own. So we do a lot of research into that as well.
I know for denim specifically, also with technology, we're constantly learning about new ways of improving on that process with design. We'll have vendors or companies come to us and make presentations to us about just anything new out there in the industry that they're seeing trending or that they think that we should implement at Abercrombie. So I know that there's a lot of interaction that way with how we can improve our processes too, as far as on the vendor side as well.
And Natalie, actually I have two questions for you. You mentioned earlier just obviously what a huge shift it is to go from school and that whole environment to actually transitioning into this sort of fully working life that you ended up having in the Midwest, which, I mean, you came to school out here, you were originally from New Hampshire. If you can talk a little bit about just what that transition was like and how Abercrombie & Fitch may have helped you with that, I think that would be really helpful for all the students.
Yeah. I think, well, first off, with the training program, Abercrombie really helps you kind of with that transition from school to career. It just gives you kind of a buffer of time to see what that work environment is like and get a little taste of it before you're completely on your own, working every day with a full 10 to 12 hour schedule. So the training program gave me a chance to kind of feel out my environment and settle in that way. And it also introduced me to a lot of my friends that I'm still friends with. So you're there with other people who have never worked before as well, or they're students, or they were students also. So for me, that was great because it was a really team environment off the bat. And then Abercrombie is always there to answer any questions. Like from the start, their HR is available to you if you need suggestions for places to live, for just where to go to dinner or anything like that, or where to find doctors, like things that you would never or you would think about when you're moving to a completely new place. So they were always really available for any questions like that, which can be overwhelming when you're on your own that way. And then for me, transitioning from San Francisco to Ohio was it was kind of like intimidating at first, just knowing that I had to leave everyone and obviously leave such an amazing city. But it's really comforting to once you're there, just to know that you can obviously afford living and you're getting a paycheck, so that's nice. And it's you can have your own place. You don't have to live with 5 people like I did in a 2-bedroom. So that's a huge relief. And then it's just it's really quaint in Ohio and Columbus. There's a lot of different pockets that make it really unique that way. So it's not like here where it's just this big overwhelming city. There's a downtown area, and then there's this little area called Short North where you'll get boutiques and restaurants, and so oftentimes you'll go out in those areas and you'll see a lot of people that you work with, which is really cool. And everyone's pretty young at Abercrombie, so it's cool because you immediately see familiar faces, and it's not like you're engulfed in this big area where you're never running into people. So it's definitely it was a fine adjustment that way. There's an art scene the same way there is here. So that was interesting for me to be able to compare the two. And then I initially lived downtown, so I lived in a little bit of a busier area, and work is in New Albany, so it's a little more set outside of the city, and so it's like a 25-minute commute, but it's beautiful, and you're on this like lovely campus. So when you're there, you're spending majority of your life at work anyways. So to be in a place that has its own campus that way is just like a breath of fresh air. You're not in a skyscraper building. You're able to, walk around and enjoy the nice weather like on your lunch break. So to me, it was really nice to kind of have somewhere where I could really feel like I could settle down or see myself being there for a while and not feel like it was just a stepping stone or just like this busy hustle and bustle kind of lifestyle that way.
Thanks, Natalie. No, that's awesome. Any other questions that we have?
So Courtney asked, so was this all your first career jobs outside of graduating?
Yeah, I went to the Columbus College of Art and Design, just down the road from Abercrombie. I found my way into an internship my junior year, and from then on I received an offer after the internship was finished, and following my senior year I rolled on in as a full-time assistant designer, and I've been there ever since. So I've been at Abercrombie for going on about maybe 3.5 years or so. So yes, it was my first job out of college.
Yep, same here as well, although my track with the company has been a little bit longer. Reed, I'm old in comparison to Bobby and Natalie. But I graduated from school in 2005, so I've actually been with the company for about 10 years now. I spent about 4 years actually in merchandising, so more on the buying side of things for my first chunk of time there, and then actually transitioned into an HR role. So I'm kind of a good example of how A&F as a company allows you to grow and shift focus within your career over your time and tenure there. And it's been, a really great ride, and hopefully that speaks a little bit to you guys to the fact that the company is a place where you can continue to grow your career over time. and somewhere where you can continue to be engaged and motivated and happy over a long-term period.
It was also my first job, obviously, as I said earlier. And like Megan was saying, you really do grow with the company. And when you're hired, they kind of explain that to you, just how you go from assistant to associate to the different levels with the company. And already I've been there a little over a year, and I went from an assistant to an associate. So it's definitely true. Like, if you work hard, you will get rewarded for that, and you will progress with your career there off the bat.
So one final question. Bobby, yesterday you talked about the internship program. So because this presentation is not only being live streamed, we're going to have a video archive. If you can talk a little bit about the internship, so if we have future students that are interested, that would be great.
It's one of my favorite questions. So obviously, I have been through the internship program myself. We call it a program because that's exactly what it is. It's really focused around bringing in juniors to give them an idea not only what it means to work at Abercrombie from the 9 to 6 that we work, but we also try to give you an idea of what it means to be a part of the A&F culture, all of the events that we put on and everything like that. The interns are involved with. We do a lot of social events for those students. We take them out to dinner. We've taken our interns to some concerts in Columbus. We've taken them to baseball games. It is a paid internship, which is a relief to hear, I know many students' ears. We offer the housing for the interns. You receive a stipend for that housing, which is not a part of that pay. So you are given $800 a week, paid bi-weekly. In addition to that, you also have your housing paid for, and for every 3 interns that we have, there is a rental car that you will use to share amongst the 3 to drive to work every day. So you're kind of piled in with everybody from all realms of design as far as graphic design, CAD, tech, we have apparel design, and those are students from around the country, from art schools, every art school you could probably imagine, and you are getting to know them, you're getting to have this experience with them and grow with them, but and learn really what it means to live in Columbus, why it's such a cool city. Columbus is, I think, on average, the average age is 32 to 34, so it's a very young city. There's a lot of young families there. I pay as rent. We talked about like the affordability. My wife and I rent out a condo, 2-bedroom condo, for $850 a month, which is pretty amazing. I love getting the reaction that I do out of that. So there's some incentive for coming to Columbus and having the ability to enjoy the lifestyle that you've always kind of looked forward to. In addition to that, you are placed on a team at Abercrombie from a work point of view. You're placed, like I said, just as any other designer would be placed. Coming in as a new full-time recruit, you would be in consideration for your aesthetic, your profile, or your portfolio, and how we think you would fit on a team. And you're really brought in as an assistant designer role. So you would have the same responsibilities, learning the same techniques, tools. It's not one of those things where you're running to get coffee for the director of the department. You might go to get coffee with that director and drink it with them and have a conversation. But like I said, your voice is very important to us. We enjoy the new set of eyes that come on campus and have so much more experience from their side, what you guys are learning in school, and just your youthful kind of energy that you bring really kind of pumps up the team, and everybody is so engaged and excited to help you guys grow. It's an amazing experience. Do I have anything else to go? 8-week program. I knew I was leaving something out. So generally you guys would start in the mid-June month area and finish around the first week of August. So it's about an 8-week snapshot quick kind of internship, but it's a wild ride. It's really cool. Mm-hmm.
And Bobby, kind of above and beyond that, once you're actually working, I know both you and Natalie had the experience. I mean, you guys travel all over the world, right, as part of your job to be able to kind of stay inspired, stay on trend.
Yeah, we have each department kind of has their own financial allotment for what we can allow for travel. I think when I had left the boys team heading into the HR realm, we were sending designers out, I think, every other month to either LA or New York. And that's really, it gives us a chance to get into our competitors' stores, see what they're doing, how they're kind of moving forward, and what we can take from that to back to our brands to really twist into our handwriting as well. Yeah.
I'll add something to that. There are designers at A&F, as well as our merchandising team, travel not only for inspiration and trend, but also for production. So two kind of very cool parts of the job. You might be in LA, New York, attending kind of certain events like, we always go to like Brimfield shows, things like that, to keep everyone engaged and on trend in terms of design inspiration, but also may travel to some of our like factories and vendors overseas to actually work on getting our product executed the way that we want it to be executed. So traveling to the Far East, India, do a lot of denim production in Mexico, all over the world. And it's such a cool experience. I got to do this when I was in merchandising, but to be in a factory and actually see how your product is getting made, and then seeing and understanding the scale on which it's being made, just like jeans flying down, sewing lines over and over again all day long, is a pretty cool thing.
So yeah, I'll be going actually to Mexico in December for denim. So I'll be able to see sort of what happens once our designs go into production, which for a designer is huge because you also figure out how these vendors work, what do they understand, what gives them the best guidance as far as how to execute your design. So for us, that's extremely important, learning just the best means of communicating how to get our point across. And then I'll be going next month to Barcelona for a fabric show, so that's really exciting. And then I've also already been to New York and for competitor shopping and for inspiration, and I got to go to Seattle and Portland so that I could go vintage shopping. So they encourage you to travel, and each team will travel. So between you and your other team members, you will have the opportunity to do so.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much to everyone for coming, for everyone online, and of course, huge thank you to Natalie and to Abercrombie & Fitch for being here.
Yeah.